Right, exactly. But I felt like the movie was extremely fast, and I get it, with film directors and everything, you have a certain amount of time or whatever, but it did not capture this book at all for me. It took like the significant moments of that book and just put it in a movie. They didn't go through the whole storyline for me, so it was terrible.
I absolutely thought it was the stupidest book ever. Like, I was like, this is so dumb and corny, and I just don't get the hype at all. I was very happy that they skipped through half the other junk that just occupied my brain. Like, what? Like, this is what? Okay, whatever. So I was glad it was rushed. I actually like the movie more than the book. Because I was like, how many times are you going to say the same thing? Pull down my underwear, stick your hand, and do whatever. Move it on. I mean, it's just...
Don't forget the whip me and stuff.
Yeah, it's just... I don't know. I guess if I didn't have anything else to do in my whole life but to read this book, and I sat in a corner in a hall...
Tell us how you really feel.
And, never interacted with men, maybe. But it was just stupid to me.
Okay.
Right,
was there any part of the book that you enjoyed, Rhea?
No.
Any part of the movie you enjoyed?
No, that's what I'm saying. This is one of those instances for me. I really liked the movie better than the book because I just felt like it just went on, and it was just too many. Maybe it's just it wasn't as well written as I would have liked.
Well, she was a first-time author. She did do research, though, so there's certain scenes that happened in the book but didn't happen in the movie. Like, one of them, for example, is Anastasia mounted Christian in this Audi blah 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 A496, whatever it's called, some like really fancy Audi car, and she went to a dealership. She got in the car and actually saw if you could mount a person in the driver's seat. So she did a little bit of research.
Yeah. So we researched that.
I'm giving
of all things we needed to research.
She did other research stuff too. I had no idea what a flogger was, so I had to Google that, which I don't suggest Googling much from that book. But I was like, what's a what?
But to be honest with you, I felt like it was somebody who did put in a word that they heard on the street and then tried to pull everything that came up on Google into a book.
Well,
that's how it felt to me.
That he wanted basically to do whatever he wanted to her. So you have to listen. Because he's a very thorough type A personality. So of course he's going to give everything possibly that you can find on Google under it because he wants to do it all. I'm not saying that it's good or bad because...
Right.
Whatever floats your boat. But I don't know.
So when you read the book, Anastasia had this inner goddess thought on a regular basis.
Absolutely.
My inner goddess feels this. My inner goddess feels that. And so I got this whole Lizzie McGuire. Like, do you remember that show where her little shoulder, Lindsay McGuire, would come on her? And kind of that was her inner thought. And I just feel like they didn't capture that in the movie. But she had a lot of inner thoughts that didn't come out in the movie that should have, which to me could have made the movie a little bit more interesting because instead we got a bunch of her staring.
Yeah, looking stupid.
What do you think?
Because she doesn't look like the Anna pictured either.
Yeah, and so you don't know what she felt or what was going on in her head. But in the book, she kept saying, well, my inner goddess thought this, and my inner goddess was pulling on me, and my inner goddess was saying run and all of that.
Right. And this would have been a perfect movie for that narrative.
Yeah, and I just felt like there were so many ways they could have incorporated that in there, and I don't know why they left out that whole...
Even just the voiceover.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because there was a lot of, like, dead air.
Or them staring at each other and
just like, okay, what are you...
undressing each other. They could have done mentally speaking of what they wanted to say on their own perspective sides, but instead of just staring at each other.
Yeah, that's true.
And I have the same thing for elevators. Sorry.
What's elevators?
The elevator scenes in the movie. Like, what is it with elevators? Okay, did you read the book?
I did. But when you say you have the same thing, I don't know what you're saying.
Never mind.
You like to do that stuff in elevators?
No, it's just the thought of it. Like, okay, I can see why.
Christian, doors closed. Is what you're talking about.
Pretty much.
Oh, gotcha.
Anna, Christian. I did like how... sorry. Do that again. Anna, Christian, doors closed. I liked how the movie started off with that kind of scene of them in the elevator, which I know it was intentional, but I do like how they concluded that, of how we all know there's other books coming and other movies coming. So that ending that they used was significant in the beginning with the doors closing and them greeting each other, because that was the instant attraction that they had. So I like that they used that instant attraction they had from the beginning in the end, but to express that, like, this may be the end. It is a closing of a chapter, but is it meaningful that they're done? So I do like that aspect that kind of balanced it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was good. And at the time when I read this book, I didn't know it was a second or third book. And I was like, no, it can't end this way. Like, I was freaking out. Then I had to go back to Barnes & Noble.
You really enjoyed that.
I really did.
Okay.
So
what are you trying to say?
I'm just going to try to change the subject because there's a bunch of things that I want to say since we are family, but I'm just going to skip over that
And
one.
see, I don't even get that whole...
I don't know what's wrong with you, Ray. I really don't.
Because I guess for me, I feel like it's somebody who's never been with a man wrote this book. Like, what? So what?
Did she never been with a man?
I don't know.
She was a virgin.
I did not know that.
Oh, she said it. I'm a virgin.
That makes it even better, though. It's just like her inner desire.
Come on, let's just get this over with. You don't remember all of that?
I'm thinking she's talking about the author.
Oh, you're talking about the author.
We're talking about Anastasia.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, I knew Anastasia.
Lynn and I were on a different page.
Yeah.
I guess from my perspective, it could be... I was thinking, like, what's the hype? So... maybe I'm the one with the issue, because I was kind of like, I mean, what's the big deal? Like,
well, the hype is that the book was so erotic and
it was like mainstream erotic.
Yeah,
not like those ones that
not
you see
raunchy erotic
that aren't really that popular. So these ones were New York bestseller novel. So I think that was the reason why it had basically went from this scene of being passed along through like book clubs or sorry, no offense, but stay-at-home moms that don't really, like, talk about erotic type things, to making it mainstream. So I think that's why it became big.
I couldn't get with the hype. I'm like, okay.
Well, see, like Champagne said that she read hers basically back-to-back when she really wanted the next book to come out. I protested a little bit, didn't really want to read it, because I was like, I really don't want to hear the same word said and over again, different 4-letter words that I won't say right now. But that kind of drove me crazy that I read that a lot. But I also decided that I wanted to know the plot behind what was going on. Because everyone kept talking about, oh, it's so this, it's so that, it's so sultry. And I'm like, what? Why? What? There has to be something else about this book that is more than just sex. So that was what made me read it. And so I read the first one and then second one, and I think the third one had maybe just came out. So I was able to read them back to back. So I just kind of bought all of them, kept them all together, and then read straight through. Versus me having, like Champagne said, to wait that time period, which probably had a different perspective, which was your imagination was kind of picturing what was going to be in the next book versus me that I had that answer right then and there.
Yeah. I think it's more of imagination and maybe lack of imagination over there, buddy. I mean, because I don't know.
There was nothing to imagine. To me,
God.
if you had a man, what were you, if you're not done anything with them? Like, why is this so, is this really happening? Just because you're single, I've been with somebody. And I felt like the hype is like, oh, okay, maybe I guess this is fantasy for some people, maybe.
Oh, I don't know. I wouldn't mind a Christian Grey.
I would not mind a Christian Grey either.
You
mine is a psycho
tying me up and beating me, but the way that Christian Grey looks in the book and my imagination, I'll take several.
Yes.
You know how many arguments I got into over this book? Because based on a person who hasn't read it, though. Oh, it's so sexist. And I'm like, you cannot have an opinion about it if you haven't read it. You can't go by what you hear.
Right.
If you haven't read the book.
That's one of the reasons why I picked it up.
Yeah, me too. That was the reason.
I
the
don't
opposite.
want to, why is it we're talking about the sex part of it? It has to have
something else.
Plot. And then if it didn't have a plot, then I was going to bash every bit of it.
Exactly.
But it actually had a plot, a storyline.
So I haven't gotten to that yet. The plot.
Right. You got 2 more to read.
Okay.
And then
That's my point.
Spoiler, I think that the books, as they progress, second and third, they do get better in the plot level.
Okay.
Right now, it's the instant honeymoon phase of attraction.
Yeah.
Right.
Where they just literally sleep together every minute.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, okay, well,
The second
just
one,
11th
the
grade.
relationship, the love, the
Everything evolves.
infatuation, it evolves more. So stay tuned.
Okay.
I think you're going to like it after you read the second and third.
I just liked it based on certain parts of the book, mainly.
Freak out!
Okay. So I really, really, really want to discuss casting.
Strong opinions on casting.
One of the things that I have to say is I really like Kate's character.
Yes.
Anna's best friend. I think that she was
Kate
played
Kavanaugh.
well in the movie.
Definitely.
And I also like Grace Gray. I think Christian's mom. I think that she played
Yes.
Marissa Harden, she's good.
She
Yes.
looks
played
like
that,
his
yeah.
mom, like, that uppity
that rich.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
She
liked
was
her
fine.
character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was fine.
Now,
Relevant.
what I gotta say is that whoever chose for casting, why did you not read the book before you chose Jamie Dornan as Christian Grey?
Or talk to any fan.
I literally had a whole list of people I could have recommended, and my top pick was Ian Somerhalder.
Yes, that's my top pick too.
Yes.
Let me tell you, Google him because
Everyone
that's
Google
Christian
Ian Somerhalder.
Grey
He's
right
Christian
there.
Grey.
All
Has he
day.
played that type of role?
Well, he played the
It doesn't
vampire.
matter.
Honestly, it
So
was
Jamie
the
Dornan
book.
hasn't.
I agree with
Had
you.
it.
I watched that movie and I'm like, who is this? He's not, you guys think he's a sexy man, but I don't think
Not
he's
on this
sexy
movie.
at all.
Yeah.
I'm like, could they have at least put him in the gym for about 6 months before they filmed so that he could be cut? With
that
thing
V
hanging
was
off his
so accentuated
V.
in the book. It was like that V that just his abs, and it was like his obliques, everything that was so sexy about him. Jamie, I'm gonna need you to work out for 6 more months.
Somebody feels like runners are sexy because that's what he looked like, the average typical.
The average.
Yes.
That's the
Well,
problem.
no, he did. He ran a lot.
No, that's what I'm saying though. That
wasn't sexy in the movie.
Just because you
Christian
run doesn't
wasn't
make you
a,
sexy.
I agree, but
and
Christian
that's what they
wasn't
look for.
a bodybuilder. He was more of a runner. That was how he cleared his mind. I just think that, I mean, you could have matched like the eye color,
Oh my God.
the hair length,
I'm looking for
or
gray
the
eyes.
height. I mean, he was supposed to be like 6'1", 6'2", and there were just so many things that I think that they missed the mark.
But he
And
was
then-
supposed to be overly sexy too. Like
Exactly. Like if you step in a room and you're gasped for air when he walks in. And Jamie Dornan is an attractive person, but not Christian Grey. He's not a Christian Grey.
At
I'm
all.
sorry.
And whoever casted Anna, Dakota Johnson, should be smacked. I'm sorry. She is not Anna Steele at all to me. I felt like Anna should have been like that next door, the girl next door type of look, but also if you dress her up, she's absolutely gorgeous.
You know who I pictured? Anne Hathaway.
She would have done it.
She looks
I would have been okay with that.
like a normal, girl next door, but then you dress her up and she's foxy and she has that sex appeal that Christian was looking for. And that's why he's surrounded himself by all blondes, because he knew his weakness was a brunette. And
I probably could have seen that.
Anne Hathaway
I don't think she's young enough.
Well, agreed, but my physical attributes were Anne Hathaway.
Yes, I agree. Because
Anastasia looked like a baby.
she does, and
But
she was
I feel
homely
I
to
felt like
me.
that's what she was supposed to be.
She was supposed to.
She's supposed to be homely.
But homely dress wise.
I think she was supposed to be. I mean, honestly, I hated the stupid book
But
anyway.
everybody was telling
But
her.
I actually liked her casting. When I'm looking at her, I'm like, okay, she could be this person that could really crawl into a shell and go unnoticed all of her, all of this time. And it's just when they were there one-on-one, she was like instantly infatuated with him somehow. And that's what made their connection. Like, he wasn't necessarily connected over her looks as much as he was of her innocence. And so that's why I felt like she was fine.
But
I mean,
throughout
she
the
could have been
whole
anybody for
book,
real.
they were saying how beautiful she was. Like, oh, you could get, and even Christian said, you can have any guy, or if you're so attractive, her friend said it. So I that's what I was kind of banking on. It's like, okay, she should be attractive in her own right. And I don't feel like, unfortunately, Dakota Johnson has played that role for me.
I even think that, a side note, I'm sorry, I kind of just jumped in the middle of this and cut you guys off. Luke Grimes could have probably played a better Christian Grey. He played Ellie. I'm back on that.
Lynn's like, we're gonna respect it because I don't really care about who played Anna. I'm still on Christian Grey.
Yeah, we all know Lynn's opinion.
Minus the blonde hair, you're right.
Yeah, even if it was a little bit darker, and his sultriness was enticing, and I think that's what Jamie Dornan was missing. So we could have switched it perfectly, and it'd have been better.
You would have to tone.
Jamie had no swag, like no style. Just it was just horrible. Just hated him in that role.
I do like Rita Ora.
I was about to say the same thing. I like Rita Ora's character. Yeah. That was really cute.
Mia, his sister.
But I didn't really care for Kate. She was described in the book as so stunning. And I don't know, I just didn't get that in the movie.
I disagree.
Yeah.
I think Kate's beautiful.
Me too.
Yeah, I didn't think she was beautiful.
I think that she has that a look about her that what we were talking about with Anna, where she can put like on a little bit of makeup and she's stunning, or not a little bit of makeup and be fine.
What do you guys think about, I guess, the adaptation from book to movie?
It sucked. Well, I just don't like the movie. The best part of the movie for me was the building Christian Grey worked in was spot on for me.
The what?
That was the best.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
So freaking irrelevant.
I know. That is the point. The movie was horrible. That's the only part I could
He's like,
that's perfect.
the traffic light and the scene where they were riding down the road, that was the only thing that was described
to me, that was it. It was spot on in the book. It described it perfectly, the building. That's about it.
I thought the women, the people that worked for him, that was kind of cool how they did that.
Stepford blondes.
Yeah, that was kind of cool how they did that. I mean, I don't know.
I
just think they bounced around a little bit too much, like Treva was saying, so it was out. Even though, for me, that's what made me like it. They did, leave out a few of the major points that someone who maybe didn't read the book wouldn't have caught the significance of certain things. Mm-hmm. But I didn't like the book, so I don't think I can have an opinion because the adaptation is just irrelevant to me because I just thought the book was stupid.
Yeah, but you could tell whether you thought the movie aligned with the book.
Right, you can't do like me and just rate one.
I mean, similar to me and the other one that we did with Paper Towns. I absolutely hated the story, but to me, the movie lined up with the book perfectly. Yes, it was spot on.
Pretty much the purpose of this podcast.
Yeah. Pretty much. Okay, so let's go ahead and do our ratings. What do you all think about the adaptation from book to movie?
I think that I'm going to give it a long day's work because it pretty much matched up to me in a way of, I guess, storyline. I don't like how they did switch different parts, like Treva said. And I also think they missed the mark on some of the casting. We're not going to mention the character's name because I made that clear, like earlier. So my vote is a long day work. Anybody?
Okay.
Somebody?
So, like I said, I absolutely love the book. Absolutely despise the movie. I don't think the movie captured the book to my liking at all, not even a little bit, other than the building that I described earlier. So I will also give it a long day. I should give it a half glass, but being generous because I absolutely love the book. What do you think, Treva?
I think I'm gonna give it a half a glass. It just didn't sit right with me the way that they jumped around with the scenes. It didn't flow very well.
Okay, and last but definitely not least, Rhea.
I'll give it a half glass.
Okay.
Not gonna elaborate on that at all? Okay, cool. And so...
All right, well, check us out on our future podcasts.
Find us and follow on Instagram at ReadWatchWine. Send us an email, readwatchwine@gmail.com. You want to connect?
Subscribe, like, love, share, all the above.
Stay tuned. We got more to come and some surprises coming out.
Bye.
Bye.